Before we begin this incredible story of revenge and redemption, I need you to do something for me. If you've ever dealt with toxic family members who made your life hell, hit that like button right now. And if you believe that karma always finds its way back to those who deserve it, share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. Trust me, by the end of this tale, you'll want everyone to know that justice is possible, even against the most hostile household. Comment below with a fire if you're ready for one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. My name is Gray, and for 24 years, I lived in what I can only describe as a domestic war zone in Augusta, Georgia. While other families gathered for Sunday dinners filled with laughter, mine gathered for battles that would make the 24 people per minute who become victims of domestic violence statistics seem like distant numbers on a page. I was the eternal optimist of the family, a trait that both saved and nearly destroyed me. Like the research shows, optimists tend to use problem-focused coping and seek social support, but in my case, that optimism became a shield that allowed my family to inflict deeper wounds while I smiled through the pain. The hostile household I called home wasn't just dysfunctional, it was systematically designed to break spirits. My parents, Marcus and Diana, along with my older siblings, Rachel and James, had perfected the art of psychological warfare. Every meal was a battlefield, every conversation a minefield. The constant fighting wasn't just arguments, it was calculated emotional terrorism. Growing up, I developed what psychologists call coping strategies focused on social support and emphasis on positive aspects of stressful situations. I became the family mediator, the peacemaker, the one who always saw the bright side. At least we have a roof over our heads, I'd say when Marcus threw dishes against the wall. At least we're all healthy, I'd whisper when Diana screamed that she wished she'd never had children. The irony was that my relentless optimism only fueled their rage. They called me weak, naive, stupid. Rachel would mock my attempts at keeping peace, while James would deliberately escalate conflicts just to watch me scramble to fix them. They fed on chaos like vampires feed on blood, and I was their favorite meal. But here's what they never knew, what I've kept hidden for over 2 decades. While they were busy tearing each other and me apart, I was quietly building something they could never imagine. My reality acceptance, as I called it, wasn't just a coping mechanism. It was a strategy, a long-term plan that would eventually be worth exactly $1,100,000. You see, when I was 15, my grandmother Rose, the only sane person in our family tree, pulled me aside during one of her rare visits. She'd watched the chaos from afar, unable to intervene directly without making things worse for me. But she had a plan. "Gray," she whispered, pressing a small key into my palm, "this opens a safety deposit box at the Duval County Courthouse Area Bank. Inside, you'll find documents for a trust fund I've set up. But you must promise me 3 things, never tell your family, never touch it until you're truly ready to leave, and document everything they do to you." That safety deposit box contained more than money. It held property deeds, investment accounts, and a letter from Grandma Rose explaining that she'd been secretly building this fortune for me since the day I was born, knowing I'd need an escape route from the family curse. Over the years, as I maintained my facade of the eternal optimist, I was actually implementing what Shire, Weintraub, and Carver identified as adaptive coping strategies. Every insult, every act of cruelty, every moment of domestic warfare, I documented it all. Videos, recordings, photographs, journal entries. 24 years of evidence, all stored safely away from their reach. The fortune grew. What started as $100,000 when I was 15 had grown through careful investment and additional deposits from Grandma Rose's estate after she passed. By the time I turned 39, it had reached $1,100,000, a number they would have killed for if they'd known. But money wasn't the only thing I was accumulating. I was also building a case, a bulletproof documentation of abuse that would eventually serve a purpose none of them could have imagined. The breaking point came on my 39th birthday, April 15, 2025. The family had insisted on throwing me a party, which should have been my first warning. They never celebrated me, they only gathered when there was an opportunity for public humiliation. They'd invited everyone, extended family, my coworkers from the library where I worked, neighbors, even people from my book club. About 81 people in total, all gathered at Augusta's River Valley Inn, a beautiful venue overlooking the Savannah River. The setup was elaborate. Marcus gave a speech about what a special person I was, how I'd always been different from the rest of the family. The contempt dripped from every word, but the guests didn't notice, yet. Then came the video presentation. A tribute to Gray's 39 years, Diana announced with a smile that never reached her eyes. The lights dimmed, and the screen lit up. What followed was 20 minutes of carefully edited footage designed to destroy me. Every embarrassing moment from my childhood, every failure, every time I'd cried or begged them to stop fighting. They'd even included audio recordings of me trying to mediate their fights, edited to make me sound pathetic and weak. But the crown jewel of their cruelty was the finale, a video of me from just 2 weeks prior, breaking down in my room after another brutal family fight, sobbing and saying I wished I could just disappear. They'd hidden a camera in my room. My safe space, violated. The room was silent. I could feel 81 pairs of eyes on me, some filled with pity, others with second-hand embarrassment. My coworkers looked horrified. My book club friends were frozen in shock. Rachel stood up, champagne glass in hand. To Gray, she said, for 39 years of being our family's biggest disappointment. But hey, at least you're consistent. The laughter that followed from my family was the sound of my last thread of patience snapping. I stood up slowly, my hand steady despite the hurricane in my chest. Thank you, I said, my voice carrying across the silent room. Thank you for finally giving me the permission I needed. Marcus snorted. Permission for what? To cry some more? No, I replied, pulling out my phone. Permission to stop protecting you. What followed was 3 weeks of meticulous planning. I contacted a lawyer specializing in family court cases through the 4th Judicial Circuit. I organized my 24 years of documentation. I prepared for war, but this time I would be the general, not the casualty. I also did something that would prove crucial. I posted a simple message on social media. After 39 years, I'm finally ready to share my story. Stay tuned. Like Shelby Lynn's viral TikTok about toxic in-laws that reached over 1 million views, I knew the power of public exposure. But I would be strategic about it. The revenge plan had 5 components. 1. Legal action. File a civil lawsuit for intentional infliction of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, and harassment. 2. Financial extraction. Systematically remove all financial support and connections I'd unknowingly provided over the years. 3. Social exposure. Release the documentation publicly, but strategically, to maximize impact. 4. Property reclamation. Execute the power I'd inherited from Grandma Rose over certain family properties. 5. The final revelation, the $1.1 million secret that would shatter their world. May 1, 2025, the first domino fell. My family woke up to find they'd been served with legal papers. The lawsuit detailed 24 years of documented abuse, complete with evidence that would make the 10 million yearly domestic violence victims statistics personal and real. The hidden camera in my room was the cherry on top, a clear invasion of privacy that my lawyer assured me would result in significant damages. But that was just the beginning. May 5, the financial unraveling began. See, what my family never realized was that over the years, I'd been the one keeping us afloat. My pathetic library job? I'd actually worked my way up to head librarian, making a decent salary. I'd been secretly paying the mortgage on the family home through an automatic payment they never knew about. I'd been covering Diana's credit card bills to keep her from bankruptcy. I'd been paying for James's car insurance and Rachel's phone plan. I canceled everything. May 10, the social media explosion. I posted a video titled, How My Family Filmed My Mental Breakdown for Birthday Entertainment. Within 48 hours, it had 2 million views. The comment section exploded with support, but more importantly, everyone in Augusta saw it. Marcus's business partners, Diana's church friends, Rachel's socialite circle, James's gym buddies, everyone. May 15, the property bomb dropped. Remember those deeds in Grandma Rose's safety deposit box? Turns out, she'd owned the family home and the vacation property in Savannah. She'd let them live there but never transferred ownership, leaving everything to me in her will with a specific clause. I could claim it whenever I felt ready to break free from the family curse. I was ready. The eviction notice gave them 30 days. May 20, the investigation began. After my video went viral, other family members came forward. Cousins, aunts, uncles, all sharing their own stories of Marcus and Diana's cruelty over the years. 3 of Marcus's former employees contacted me about workplace harassment. 2 of Diana's former friends revealed financial fraud she'd committed against them. The house of cards was collapsing, and I hadn't even played my final card yet. May 25, I called a family meeting. They showed up, of course, desperate and furious in equal measure. Marcus had lost 3 major business contracts. Diana had been asked to leave her church. Rachel's engagement had been called off when her fiancé saw the birthday video. James had been suspended from his job pending an investigation into his own workplace behavior. They sat across from me in my lawyer's office, their faces twisted with rage and desperation. "How could you do this to us?" Diana wailed. "We're your family." "Exactly," I replied. "You're my family. You were supposed to protect me, love me, support me. Instead, you spent 24 years treating me like your emotional punching bag." "You're overreacting," Marcus growled. "It was just a joke." 30% to 60% of intimate partner violence perpetrators also abuse children in the household, I quoted calmly. "What you did to me has a name, and it has consequences." "What do you want?" Rachel demanded. "Money? Is that what this is about?" I smiled then, really smiled, for the first time in years. "Money? No, Rachel. I don't need your money. In fact, I never did." I placed a folder on the table and slid it across to them. Inside were bank statements, investment portfolios, and property deeds, all in my name, totaling $1,100,000. "Grandma Rose knew what you were," I said quietly. "She spent years building this safety net for me, knowing I'd need it to escape you. Every time you called me pathetic, worthless, a disappointment, I was worth more than all of you combined." The silence was deafening. "But here's the best part," I continued. "I'm not keeping all of it. $100,000 is going to establish a foundation for victims of family abuse. Another $50,000 is going to the local domestic violence shelter. And $50,000 is being donated to mental health services in Augusta. As for the rest?" I stood up, gathering my things. "That's my new life fund. My life without you." James lunged across the table, but my lawyer had security ready. As they dragged him out, he screamed, "You can't do this. We're blood. You can't have a healthy relationship with an unhealthy person," I quoted from a viral TikTok I'd seen. "Blood doesn't give you the right to make someone bleed." It's been 6 months since that day in the lawyer's office. The lawsuit was settled out of court, they couldn't fight the mountain of evidence I'd compiled. The settlement, combined with the sale of the properties, added another $300,000 to my foundation. Marcus's business collapsed entirely when more employees came forward. He now works as a night security guard, a job he once mocked others for having. Diana moved in with her sister in Alabama, who treats her exactly the way she treated me, as an unwelcome burden. Rachel works 3 minimum wage jobs to pay her bills, the socialite lifestyle a distant memory. James is in court-mandated anger management after multiple incidents following our confrontation. And me? I bought a small cottage on the coast of South Carolina. I wake up to the sound of waves instead of screaming. I've started therapy to properly process 24 years of trauma, implementing what research shows about optimism's influence on mental well-being through adaptive behaviors and cognitive responses. The Gray Foundation has already helped 47 families escape toxic situations. We provide emergency funds, legal assistance, and therapeutic support. Every month, I receive letters from people who say my story gave them the courage to document their own abuse, to plan their own escape. My viral video eventually reached 40 million views across all platforms, inspiring a movement with the hashtag #DocumentEverything. Like other viral revenge stories that captivated millions, mine resonated because it showed that justice is possible, even when it takes decades. I wrote them one final letter, though I never sent it. It sits in my desk drawer, a reminder of where I've been and how far I've come. Dear Marcus, Diana, Rachel, and James. You taught me that family could be a battlefield. You showed me that love could be weaponized. You demonstrated that cruelty could masquerade as humor. But in trying to break me, you forged me into something unbreakable. Your constant fighting taught me patience. Your cruelty taught me compassion for others who suffer. Your mockery of my optimism only made it stronger, transforming it from naive hope into strategic resilience. I don't forgive you, forgiveness is not owed to those who show no remorse. But I do thank you. Thank you for showing me exactly what kind of person I never want to be. Thank you for pushing me to document everything, creating the very evidence that would free me. Thank you for that birthday party, it was the catalyst I needed to finally choose myself. You always said I was different from the rest of the family. You were right. I'm not like you. I never was, and I never will be. Gray. As experts note, the biggest piece is acceptance when dealing with toxic family dynamics. But acceptance doesn't mean endurance. It means accepting that they won't change, that you can't fix them, and that your only responsibility is to protect yourself. If you're reading this and seeing yourself in my story, know this: document everything. Build your escape route. And never, ever let anyone convince you that blood gives them the right to destroy you. The Gray Foundation is real, and we're here to help. Because everyone deserves what I finally found, not just freedom from abuse, but the chance to transform their pain into purpose. My name is Gray. I'm 39 years old. I survived 24 years of domestic warfare. And I won.